Joining me now is one of Senator Tuberville's most fiercest critics on the Democratic side of the aisle, Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado. Senator Bennet, thank you for being here. You heard Senator Tuberville's comments right there. He does not believe that his blockade of these nominees in any way affects military readiness. I assume you feel differently.
I feel differently, and every single general that I've ever talked to feels differently, and this has become a huge problem for America. I mean, he has created a fairy tale, Senator Tuberville has, where he is saying that the DOD has too many generals, that the generals that the DOD has is somehow pursuing some sort of quote-unquote woke agenda. This is all to obscure the radical position that he has taken, which is that he is so upset in the wake of the reversal of Roe versus Wade that the Department of Defense would pay for the transportation of women who are serving in the armed forces, that are serving in a state like Alabama, where if you're a doctor and you perform an abortion, you can go to jail for 99 years. He is so offended by the idea that people would be able to have their travel paid for, just like people who are going in for a foot operation or any other operation have their travel paid for, who, by the way, happen mostly to be men, that he has brought the entire Department of Defense to its knees. And he's now claiming, we don't need generals. He's now claiming that he's not affecting our national security. I can tell you every single general I know believes he is profoundly affecting our national security. And let me just finish also by saying that the generals I know are working on protecting our national security interests, standing up our support against Putin's horrific invasion of Ukraine and his attack on Western democracy, and doing the planning that's necessary for us to be able to be able to do the work we need to do from a national defense perspective.
So, Senator, your complaints about the situation are duly noted. That hasn't seemed to impact Senator Tuberville at all. The pressure has not made him budge an inch on his position. Senator Schumer was pressed on this yesterday about whether or not it's time for Democrats to just begin the process of confirming these judges outside of the hold, which you do have the ability to do. I know it would be laborious. I know it would be difficult. But if you do believe that national security is at risk, is it time for you to use the legislative instruments you have at your disposal to begin the process of confirming these generals?
I think that we would never get any other work done if we did that. The schedule will not allow it. It cannot allow it. That's one of the reasons why for 230 years, no senator, no matter how extreme their views, Jesse Helms comes to mind back in the day, no matter how extreme their views, has done the kind of tactic that Tuberville has engaged in here. And frankly, I think that we would be capitulating to this extraordinarily horrible tactic that he has pursued if we began to do these nominations one at a time, as if that was either going to solve the problem at DOD or B, defend the rights of enlisted American women who are fighting for this country and don't need Tommy Tuberville telling them what choices they should make about their bodies. And that's really important for us to understand. This party, in the wake of Roe being overturned, after their 50-year crusade that put 3 originalist justices on the court whose mission was to overturn Roe, they said, well, this is just now a states' rights issue. That's not true. This is a war against a woman's right to choose. And Senator Tuberville is the tip of the spear. I think the American people need to rise up and say, we are not going to tolerate this. This is intolerable, and Senator Tuberville has to change his position. And if he's not willing to change his position, the Republican Party is going to have to own the most anti-defense actions that I've ever seen in my adult life in this country, and the most anti-set of freedom, the freedom agenda that any party has ever owned. And I say that, it breaks my heart to say that, because this is not for me about politics. It's about women that have signed up to serve, our nation's military, and the fact that one senator's right-wing and very frankly unusual view that, abortion is the modern-day Holocaust, and that he's standing up for to prevent after-birth abortions, that somehow that makes it appropriate for him to do what he's doing on the floor of the Senate. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's an outrage. It is an outrage.